Hello and welcome to the next in our series of Platform Insight interviews. I'm delighted to be joined by Lois Duguid, who is the Community Impact Officer for Europe for QTS Data Centres.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
You are very, very welcome. And it's great, actually, we were just having a chat about this before the camera went on, that the raft of new roles and responsibilities that are coming up within companies within our sector is only a positive thing. It's fantastic. That whole community impact piece, we've had a year, particularly within the UK, of it not being the best press. You know, most of us that have been in this industry for a long time have been very under the radar, and then all of a sudden we're out in the sunshine, but actually it's not to the industry's best overall perception. Now, that community support piece, that going out into the community, that showing what companies within our industry can be doing for communities, I think is the way that we address it. So if you could just explain a bit about your role and what you do within QTS and how this role came about.
Okay, so this role is increasingly important as data centres are developed because naturally local communities think, oh, right, there's going to be a really big building going up and there's going to be traffic, and what about the electricity? And but just as ordinary people who live next to these things, people wonder, what does that mean for me? Is that a good thing or a bad thing for my local community? My role is to contribute, amongst other things as well, to say, look, actually we really do want to bring benefit to your local community. And the lovely thing is that through the work I do with local schools and charities is I can provide a quick and early signal of intent to be a benefit to the local community when we build a data centre.
That is amazing, and I wish more companies were doing this. So tell us about a couple of, you've mentioned there with outreach that you're doing. Talk us through a few of the activities that you've been doing recently.
When we want to look at how to provide benefit to the local community, it is really important to speak to local stakeholders. So you do your desk-based research and you look at, what are likely the issues which are pertinent to a local community? Where is the need? What could they do with some help on? And then you find some local schools, charities, talk to them, get it right. And then I actually like to design bespoke programs. I don't really take things off the shelf. I like to design things which I think will make a difference. And that's really important. This is
not one size fits all.
Not one size fits all, not a tick box exercise, something that will really deliver measurable impact. So to give you some examples of some things that we've been doing, we've just launched a multi-year grant partnership with a fantastic education charity. We're going to provide digital maths and English tutoring through Action Tutoring to 5 schools in the Camas and Blythe area, immediately surrounding the site of our new data centre. And that's a huge need. So when I heard last year the results, the GCSE results were published for the UK, and firstly they were shocking in terms of some of the core subjects, English language and maths GCSEs. I think it was like 43% of students failed. What can you do if you haven't got GCSE maths and English language? And then the other thing that was very obvious was, when you looked at the regional variations in the results, our area was 10.2% worse in its top level of results compared to the south. Massive. And that's what we call the education attainment gap. Actually, that one was a geographical attainment gap, as well as the socioeconomic attainment gap that exists between poorer pupils and their better off peers. So we're trying to do something about that. Digital tutoring, because that makes sense, right? This is the industry which enables the digital economy. So absolutely to provide a digital solution to help kids have online tutoring with people who are qualified and trained to help them get a pass in GCSE maths and English, improved SAT results.
That's amazing.
That's what we're doing.
And the fact that, like you say, is real impact. But what I'm sure anyone watching this now is going to be really surprised by is the fact that this isn't to do with, well, we're going to provide heating from our data centres. It's not data centre related, it's actually taking a problem within the community and dealing with that problem, but not then trying to relate it to what you're doing
Yes.
as a business.
Yes.
And I think that's a really unique approach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to have your ears and eyes open to what they need in the community, not what we could do because we know how to do that.
Yeah.
I
We're going to
think
heat a swimming pool for you.
Yeah, I mean, we do that stuff too.
Yeah.
So actually not a swimming pool, but we have a project in the Netherlands which provides shared excess heating to the local community. So we do some of that stuff too. Another example, we have just launched a project in Zaragoza in Spain to provide help to people in poverty situations. Actually, 2 charities we launched this with. So we're working with a homelessness charity, Hermandad del Refugio, and they provide a program which is called Drop of Milk, Gota de Leche. And this is
It sounds much better in Spanish.
I know, I can't actually, that's all I can say in Spanish. And this is providing powdered baby milk, nappies and other essentials to parents who cannot afford to buy these things for children aged 0 to 14 months. So we're sponsoring the provision there. The other thing that we're doing is another digital solution actually. We are working with a charity which is a big global charity called SOS Children's Villages, but in Spain it's called Aldeas Infantiles, and they provide a loving home environment to orphans and children who have had to be put into care in these little villages. They prioritise keeping siblings together. It's not one big house, it's 7 little sort of cottage houses. So we're providing funding for them to do that. But the other thing that we're doing, and this is another thing that's important, is it's not just about money. We are delivering employability workshops to the parents and carers who have got social services involved and who are at risk of having their children taken into care. Because the charity said to us, we said, you know, how can we help? And they said, oh, help them get jobs. If they have jobs, if they're employed, they can provide for their families. So last week we launched the project. We donated 8 decommissioned laptops and, you know, earphones and mice and all that sort of thing. And we did a workshop on how to write a CV with a team of Spanish speakers who we all flew over and we did it together, and we'll follow up with them in a couple of weeks to see how they've got on.
Oh, that's amazing. Please keep us informed on that one. I'm just loving the angle with this in terms of it's not just about we have this building, it's a data centre, this is the benefit of the data centre. It's, look, we're going out and we're getting involved in communities and we're actually helping them when we're finding a need that needs to be fulfilled rather than trying to pigeonhole what we do into that community.
And that's so, well, you see, it's so much more inspiring and fun for our people. You know, we're very fortunate. We work in a successful growth industry. People who work at QTS are very, very fortunate, and they want to be able to give back to people who are less fortunate, for whom life is not easy. And it's really important for us that we provide a way for people to enact their personal purpose to do these things. People want to know how to help. But I think as well that we want to, and it's important to demonstrate to the local community, we're coming into your community, but we really do want to benefit you. So we're going to get personally involved. We're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to get alongside you and help address some of these social issues, because it is about the people in the local community. They are the ones who need the help, and that's what we're trying to address.
That's amazing. And, you know, you see so much bad publicity at the moment. I said over the last 2 years in terms of, you know, these big destroying the planet, and by the way, they don't give any jobs, and they don't. You've seen all of that there, and to actually see something that is positively going into a community and doing that. And we're at a UK event at the moment, and you're there with your Scottish initiatives. What else are you doing across the UK for that community piece?
Well, so we have a team that's based in London. So actually, we don't have any data centres in London, but we do regular volunteering from the London team. So we will do things, we work with the Felix Project, which helps to package up food donations to give to charities and people in need around the capital. We work with an excellent charity called Little Village, which takes items which have been donated by parents for parents who don't have means to use, so clothes, cots, buggies, and we go and volunteer with them. Tomorrow we are all dressing up in pyjamas for the day for a Ronald McDonald House Charities pyjama day.
One of my favourite charities.
Oh my goodness, you know, ritual humiliation altogether. I think there's 18 of us doing that to raise money because one of our guys stayed in a Ronald McDonald House because he had a baby who needed urgent care, and of course you need to be near your child in hospital, so that's what those houses do. So we do things like that. We did a Christmas appeal. Actually, that was for a little primary school up in Northumberland near our data centre, and the level of deprivation is absolutely shocking. I mean, we would find it quite hard to understand, and the primary school told us that there are children who they sleep in their school uniforms all week because they don't have pyjamas. Their parents don't have lots of clothes to put them in. They just get into their uniform at the beginning of the week and they just sleep in their uniforms. They do not have the means to provide them with Christmas gifts. So we had an appeal amongst our staff to provide pyjamas for 115 gift sacks for children and some siblings as well in the school who needed gifts. And we actually gave the school some money as well to buy the chocolate and goodies and gifts and things to put into the sacks as well. So we do a variety of things from our European headquarters in London, but also I think very important to have a real focus on where our data centre projects are as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love what you're doing. I think this is amazing. I've been, you know, this is one of the most emotional I've felt in, you know, data centre interview.
I know.
Do you think that every single company, organisation within this sector needs to be doing the same thing?
No, because I think that it's got to be bespoke to where you're building. I do think that there is a real concern. It's becoming increasingly important to bring communities alongside with you. Data centre development hits problems when communities don't know you, don't trust you, don't understand, put up objections. And as a company, we are seeing that it is very important. My role, the role of my colleague who runs social value, our government relations, community engagement functions, we all work together because it's really important that we try and mitigate the fears of local communities when we come and build. So it is increasingly important. But I think that I don't think it's real unless you make it bespoke to the places you build in, and that's why it's got to be not tick box, not one size fits all, bespoke.
That's the problem, isn't it? Where people go, oh, all you're doing is to do this as and we do have a PR issue. So initiatives like that go a long way to showing that this isn't just us trying to bowl you over with things. It's us actually trying to make a real difference. Lois, I know you're on a panel later for us this afternoon talking about that community impact piece. It's been a delight to talk to you. It's been one of my favourite interviews today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.